All right, hello everybody. Doing another hobby live stream. And as you can see, I've got some Kroot. I got some printed Kroot stuff that's I'm really looking forward to All right, hello everybody. I'm really looking forward to getting this stuff built and all that. I printed some additional parts. And we're just going to get to work. Oops. Knocking stuff over. Hello, Brian. All right. So, I have not looked at this Kroot kit at all. But it's a GW kit, so it's a GW Kill Team kit. So pretty much everything is going to be there's two builds or whatever, because that's how they do it with all their Kill Team stuff. So for the first build, it's the leader, the Kill Broker. That's a good name. He's standing on a rock. I got another standing rock guy that I can use. All right. C 95, 96, 97. So, for Nova this year, I am going to be doing a Necromunda event. I used Kill Team for it last year, and people really liked it, and they asked me to bring it back. And I'm cool with bringing it back, but I just kind of couldn't. Like the Kill Team system just kind of wasn't quite as fun to mess with as I was hoping it was going to be, and I just really want to try out the doing a rule set for Necromunda, because I think that it would be very useful. And along the way, one of the things that I'm going to do, I think, is actually write a Kroot hunter team, like a bounty hunter team, into the rules for Necromunda. So... this is less than ideal. And out of plastic glue, so I'm going to have to use super glue, which is fine. I do that all the time. But the not so fine part is actually applying it to the models, because my super glue is janky. Agreed. And originally my goal with using it for Inquisitor was to make it simpler for playing multiplayer. But I just didn't really... I don't know. I just feel more comfortable with the Necromunda rules. And, you know, it's going to be something that I have to work on and get made. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the rules I'm comfy with. And I've been wanting to do like a full set of Inquisitor rules for Necromunda anyway. So it shouldn't be too bad. The real hard question for me is whether to use like a credit value system to kind of do that internal balance stuff. Because personally, I don't super care about that kind of thing. Personally, I could deal with having it be just build whatever kitbashes you want, and then from there make it into a team But since it's an event for other people, you know, I want to be making sure that they have a good time. And I know that other people have different takes on this stuff than I do. Yeah, just seeing if that was a sprue burr or if that was meant to be modeled there. I think not. Alright. Oh, cutting towards myself. Classic mistake. I always say I'll stop. Alright. So we got a body. So what I'm doing, because my my glue top is all jank, I am using this lid of this, it was a orange juice bottle, and I like to use them to serve as like, I don't know, like pipes and, you know, pieces of hardware, buildings and stuff when I'm kit bashing. But what it is essentially is a spare bit of plastic. Alright, so it looks like the Kill Broker has two different setups. One is with a Tau rifle in one hand and a sword in the other. And the other is a Kroot rifle and a knife. So I think the Tau rifle is the build that I'm more interested in. But if I want to, I can use the other rock pose to make the alternate build. I always build my kill teams out to every single option. I'm not going to be able to do all 20 models from the roster. From what I printed, as I wanted to spend the time to print this bad boy. This thing is, it's funny, it's labeled as a Kroot vehicle, but there's 0 Kroot details on it. So it's just actually a really nice base vehicle for using for different stuff. Obviously, it's based off of the GW Ridge Runner, but it's got some changes where, you know, these spokes are kind of whole different pieces, and it's got a flux capacitor, or no, it's got a Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future. So that's cute. All right, so this guy. There we go. Oops. There's that. And then the sword is part number 99. Yeah, agreed. The top of my super glue just gets wrecked every single time. I wish that it wasn't the case, but oh, huh. My music stopped. That's odd. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Mr. Fusion is an essential component of any ash waste vehicle, because what are you going to do? Run them on Promethium? You're going to have to be constantly scrapping, taking trips to Gastown to try to steal. I'm trying to get better about trimming mold lines and stuff. I often would get all the way through priming and then start to do the mold lines, and that's a mistake. All right. So this one's not really a kit bash. I'm just building them as is, but I think I'm going to build the alternate option next. How is this supposed to line up? Ugh. Got some schmutz. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what the intended pose was here, but this is striking me as a piece that's going to be a problem. Traditionally, if the contact point is so small that I can barely get it to go on, and that's a bad sign. I kind of went out of my way to get the desk actually clean, which was a nice thing to work on last night. I've been dealing with such a crappy desk situation for so long. Well, not to be silly, but I definitely want to do some alternate heads, so this will be the first one using these heads that I found on Cults 3D. While I'm at it, since he's the leader, I'm gonna give him a little grenade pack. All right. And the autofocus is sort of working, so that's nice. All right, so now alternate leader. Get a little bit of leftover bits from the supports. But overall, the supports came off really clean on these. It was a much bigger issue on my the elves, whatever they're called, Corsairs. There was just a ton of little burrs from the process. All right, and so the other option is a knife and a Kroot rifle. So the knife is 103. But yeah, so for this Necromunda project, my goal is to kind of synthesize in the genetic modifications from Goliaths, the poisons, the legendary names, all that stuff into kind of a general acolyte builder. And there will be suggested stat lines that you use for representing specific fighter types of fighters. Like if you want to have an Eldar Harlequin, there will be, you know, a recommended profile for that. And then I'll do rules for the various gear with some of it will just be kind of rebadging stuff. Like the needle rifle I think works really well as the Dark Eldar splinter rifle. So I don't think that you need to have separate rules for that one. But stuff like Tau equipment and drones and stuff. I want to come up with rules for using those. I really want it to be kind of a Necromunda system where you can kind of build a skirmish team from anything that isn't a Space Marine and then just kind of drop it in. Alright, I'm either blind or it's not on this sprue. Either is a possibility, as I often will get a little bit hyper-focused on what I'm talking about and not pay attention. 103. Of course, it's a knife, so I could just look for a knife. But yeah, I'm also working on updating the campaign rules for the Necromunda event, because it's nice to change it up every year. And I think I'm gonna go with something inspired by the Uprising campaign. So fighters will be more likely to die. You'll be dealing with like starvation and hunger and all that, and everybody's just kind of got to deal with the limitations. I might even go trading post only, but I haven't quite decided. Or not trading post. I think I might go like basic gear only, no kind of higher end stuff from the trading post. But I don't know. Actually, you know, I think not, because it's a limited event. They're only going to be playing for a few rounds, so limiting it too much it's kind of taking the fun away from it. This is one of those kits where they don't give you enough arm to make two of something, so I'm going to have to find an arm to kind of kit bash in, of course. So the Inquisitor rules, it's kind of interesting to think about like the way that 40k kind of oversimplifies stuff. Not oversimplifies, but like in order to be a game that is, you know, such a breadth of different stat lines and stuff, 40k has limitations in terms of how much they can actually kind of give each faction that like differentiation. And it's especially an issue because the D6 system is limiting. It's kind of inherently limiting. You can do multiple rolls to get a wider spread of probability, which every GW game does that. But it doesn't change the fact that like you only have, you know, you've got when you have a system where six always wounds and one always fails to wound and whatnot, then you're going to run into difficulty in differentiating between something as powerful as like a Custodes versus something as meager as a Chaos Cultist and everything in between. So everything gets kind of flattened in 40k in order to make the game function. And everyone kind of knows that. I mean, kind of inherently, a squad of 10 cultists can pretty easily take down a Space Marine, but, 10 cultists in the background certainly couldn't do any such thing. I mean, maybe if they got lucky. The Space Marine had been, like, grievously wounded by something else first. Alright, and I'll find some more arms for him to kind of kitbash in a little bit. This guy I really like. Mono wheels are fun. More mono wheels. I always use accelerant with my super glue projects because it's the only way to get it to set as quickly as I want it to. Yes, I'm impatient. Yes, it's a character flaw. I've come to terms with it. Oh, good luck with the baby. I'll be here for the next couple hours. So, yeah. Alright. I'm going to use one of these spare heads. As the head for the bike. I gotta say, I'm really happy with the White Bat audio for the music for the show. His stuff is really scratching an itch that I've really been enjoying. I think I probably mentioned this last stream because I repeat myself a lot. Apparently this is an ADHD trait where you just kind of tell the same story and can't remember if people have heard it or not. But I've really been feeling synth music lately, and it feels like it's kind of back. Watching Andor and enjoying the soundtrack to that, and then Dark Tide even has some like really synthy, it's GW or it's game, it's Warhammer, but it's got a lot of synthy stuff going on, which is all right. I almost forgot that when I use the light, it does have a tendency to get in my face. So, yeah. I mean, that's just a start, but I like that guy a lot. Yes. My dad is the same way. There's this tower here in Baltimore that they used to make like shot in it, and it's very tall. At one point it was the tallest structure in the United States during like the colonial era. And my dad, every time we drove by, would go, there's over 1 million bricks in the shot tower every single time. And it it became like a running gag where, we would drive by and the rest of us were just like, huh? Say it? Like that Bart meme. And eventually he stopped saying it. But we would then say it. And so now I say it. It's like a contagion. I tell my kids about the 1 million bricks. But they're young still. They still find those kind of facts interesting. Alright, so that's 1 and 3. So I'm just looking for 2. Aha. Dose. I gotta say, I feel silly that I haven't built these Kroot yet. I've wanted a Kroot kill team for so long. And then it came out, and I just kind of sat on it. What was I thinking? I've done a few Kroot bounty hunters in the past, but I never actually had like a full set of Kroot. It was I buy these like random bits bags sometimes on eBay. Haven't done it in a while just because I don't really use eBay as much as I used to. These days I'm mostly buying full kits and then kit bashing everything inside of them with 3D prints. But there's something really fun about getting a random bag of bits and then kind of deciding what to do with them. It was a lot of kind of fuel for my early entry into, you know, skirmish kind of stuff. Because starting out, you know, as a Chaos Space Marine player, I did not have a ton of bits for kitbashing Inquisitor 28 stuff, so I was at a pretty major disadvantage at first. So I went online and I ordered a bunch of grab bags of various bits, and that really helped catch me up to kind of where I wanted to be. C4. Aha. It's a little shawl kind of thing. And just kind of trimming away. Anyhow, the Inquisition relies really heavily on kind of modifying their soldiers to suit their needs, or recruiting modified people. So I figure having a system for different cybernetics and all that would be a good way to use the existing Necromunda rules to kind of give you a build your own option that gives you more precisely what you want. Alright, I'm gonna build this guy as the long rifle guy. So that's 9, 10, and 11 are the parts. That's 10. There's 11. So where's 9? Aha. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether something is like a burr from the sprue or whether it's just a little like dial for putting in your for dialing in your sight. It turned out to be a dial. I ordered a new cutting mat because this one is so small and it's in rough shape. It was in way worse shape this morning, and then I got kind of a wild hair to clean it up. So I took like greens, not green stuff, simple green, and like put it all over the top of the cutting mat, and that got most of the Yes, exactly. I sliced off all of the sliced off. I cleaned off all of the kind of gunk. I mean, there was like, we're talking years of texture paint and goop and so many things. So I'm really glad to have cleaned up my workspace a bunch. All right. I realized that part of the reason that I kind of wasn't streaming very often was that I had too much stuff in my desk space, and it was making it hard to kind of get set up. And so I'm going to really endeavor this time around to keep my desk kind of laser focused on just being like a temporary workspace. Like nothing gets left on the desk. Oops. All right. It is possible this was a mistake. I should have glued this part on first and then worried about boom. All right. And slide that in there. Shoot. And nope. Goodness gracious. All right. Good old super glue. Often if I haven't secured, or if I haven't pre-treated it with accelerant, it just will not do anything. All right. Wishing I had a toothpick right now, but I do have an appropriate dental tool to do the job of a toothpick. I gotta say, the music makes me feel like I'm doing something way more cool and interesting than I actually am. All right. Funny enough, I don't keep paper clips on hand very often, but what's nice about using a metal tool is that you get super glue on it, and then when the super glue runs out, you just burn it with a lighter or whatever. Which is also, if you haven't tried the like metal applicators, tips, those work way better because of that same reason. All right. Exactly. I'm like about to do something really important and cool. Maybe stealthy. Alright, so how many spare heads are there in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's not including the leader. I've used 1 for this guy, so there's 12, 9. Alright. I'm making do. I almost forgot there's another Tau weapon in here. Is that for the leader too? Huh. You can give him either the Pathfinder sniper rifle or the pulse rifle. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, so there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 14 heads in the kit. I used 1 of the pre-printed heads, so that makes it 15 total. So I used 1 here, so 14 total, which means that for the remaining, trying to figure out the Kroot head economy is, it's not easy. Oh hey, there's like a little number 5. There's like a little extra ammo pouch for the sniper rifle. I think it's ammo. I don't know. Maybe it's grenades. It's tube shapes. So that will go. That'll go right here. Darn it. It's not the first time I've struggled with getting a small part into place. I have ways of doing this. Boom. And now this guy, we give him C8 is, this is a fun one. I really like it when models are loading a weapon. It's personally something I'm a fan of. Oops. All right. Oh, this is probably not the right body for that. The like mid sprint body is probably not the right body for the reloading weapon hand. And of course I don't have any bodies that aren't leaping, any spare bodies that aren't leaping. So let's see. There's the Kroot Cold Blood. I don't know what makes him a Cold Blood. Is it just that he has a robotic leg? I guess his rifle is slightly different. This looks like a Kroot rifle just with some stuff taped around it. Oh well. So 12 and 13. I really like these Kroot models a lot. The thing that really held me back from building the Kroot, sort of like when I had the first thought of doing a Kroot kill team or you know, bounty hunter, vendor team or whatever. The first thought, the thing that kind of held me back was, oh wait, I was building it wrong. 18. Oh, I still do need 13. The thing that was holding me back was that the kit is so old that it just didn't have that kind of bits, options, customization kind of stuff that really kind of draws me to building models. And I could have definitely done a bunch of kitbashing with them like I did with the first couple Kroot that I made. But it just kind of wasn't, it just didn't feel like a good enough canvas to kind of work with. And so I kind of waited, assuming that eventually someday a proper Kroot kit would come out. And just like I waited on the Eldar Corsairs, because I had started kitbashing a Corsair army back in, I think 6th edition was when I started it. It was before my kids were born, so my one kid's in 3rd grade, so that it goes to show you how long ago I was working on that. But I kind of stopped because it was expensive working with Eldar stuff. And then GW did me a solid and they released a bunch of they released the new Corsair kit in a Kill Team box, which I was gonna buy anyway because it's just a good deal usually. With, you know, you get 2 kill teams and a bunch of terrain for $200. So it's hard to turn that down. So I've bought every single Kill Team box that they've done so far, which is funny because I don't actually play the Kill Team rules all that often. I don't hate them. They've got some fun elements, and I think that like the combat system is really cool, and I think it would be cool if 40K went in that direction to kind of a more modern format, even though personally I don't want any of that stuff coming over to Necromunda, because Necromunda is my special baby. So I'm very protective of it. I'm hoping that we don't get any edition churn with Necromunda. I mean, it's hard to even call it edition churn when you're in the 6th year of a edition. Like, it's not really churn at that point. But I'm really hoping that we don't get an edition changeover, because it really feels like the game is finally getting to be where I wanted it to be, you know, several years ago when I started this podcast and all that stuff. And it would be a shame if they got the game to a great point and then did an edition change that will cause a bunch of kind of awkward shifting around. Okay. The reason that arm doesn't work is because there's an intermediary piece. 19. All right, so Inquisitor. The great question is whether to use credits or something to kind of balance the teams. And it's tough because, like, my first instinct is Inquisitor doesn't need that because the whole point is really just a creative project. But it feels like that could be setting myself up to have people disappointed when somebody going to the event brings a over the top combo. So I don't want that. So I think I probably will do a credit system, but it might be kind of simplified a little bit. Or maybe I'll just limit certain things, like you can have X number of special weapons. But I don't want to limit people's creativity if they really want to go all special weapons with like very few models. Then a points-based system is better for that. That was one thing I liked about the new Kill Team. The lack of points is actually a kind of a cool structural thing. And when I did my riff on it, I just kind of I made the system more flexible, less balance focused, obviously. But I kept the no point values thing because that was important to me. It was kind of in the spirit of Inquisitor. So why not keep it? I am slightly worried people will be sad that I'm using Necromunda rules this go around. But it's also going to be just a slightly different format. The different players will all be on the same board for both games. It'll be 2 games instead of the one night that we had last time around. All right. After much hemming and hawing, it's done. His heads are a little big. I can't remember if maybe I accidentally printed the heads that are meant to be kind of Kroot that ate orcs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's um, it's hard to kind of. So, like, the event rules obviously are based around only kind of 2 games, right? But I want the rules that I write to be capable of running, you know, more long form kind of games. So, yeah, so everything would have a value. It's the same idea as building a Necromunda gang, but there would be a more involved character creation process. Yeah, exactly. Some cards that you could buy to kind of even things out. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Uh, I want to kind of make it so you're starting with a character you pick from a variety of stat lines, kind of like Venators, but with more variation because I want the players to be able to do all kinds of stuff. From doing the kind of lowliest dregs to bringing in kind of aspect warrior level kind of fighters, or harlequins, that kind of thing. But we'll see. All right, so 17, 16, 17, and 15. So for this body, I'm going to do $16 is right here. $17 and $15 are right here. So this kit is better about keeping everything nearby each other than some of the other Kill Team kits I've done. All right. So looks like that will line up here. Yeah, when you start to broaden out to kind of that the bigger universe of 40K, you can start to really play with some fun stuff. So I think it'll be a good format, but I kind of have to. So I'll start with the base like list builder, and that'll be what I try to get done this weekend. And thankfully, GW has given us, or Specialist Games or whatever, has given us a fair bit of points costs of stuff. With the House of books, there's a lot of variety of different kind of both a variety of equipment and a variety of really cool, oh shoot, a variety of really cool enhancements. And I like the idea that like your Crusader could have like a bionic leg that is using the augments from the Van Saar. I'll probably simplify the list down a little bit. But then they also have like a legendary name that grants them certain benefits the way that the Orlok ones do because they've done great deeds or whatever. And then that kind of a system would allow you to kind of build exactly the kind of fighter that you want. There's a bunch of psychic powers that are in the books. There are let's see, gene smithing is a fun one because like genetic modification is another thing that the Inquisition would be definitely messing around with. But there's so many ways to go with it. Yeah, Yeah. So that's what the original Inquisitor was. It was super crunchy. Um, it had arguably too much detail. I'm not one to kind of turn my nose up at crunch, but it was pretty crazy. And yeah, I mean, I want it to be a system that works either, you know, running one off, or to be something that you can run like a campaign format. Now, this is more of a one-off for the actual event, just because when you've only got 2 games, there's not that much opportunity for advancement. Where is the... Okay, that is the other side of his face. I wasn't paying attention, and I put half a head on. Classic. So yeah, I'm kind of... It's tough. I mean, I can revise stuff up until it goes to print. All right. There we go. I like him. Now, Kroot Warrior. Oh, so this one's just 2 different generic Kroot Warrior builds. What else we got? More kind of generic. Oh, is that like a Kroot carbine? Ooh, cut skin. That's a fun one. I think I will build the Kroot cut skin next. Because it's fun. He's got 2 close combat weapons. Although, no, I could go in linear. I've been at it for an hour. I've got some dudes. I'm definitely going to have to print more Kroot bits. Specifically, I want to get some Kroot actually sitting on the vehicle. If I want a generic version of that vehicle, then I will print another one. But this is the Kroot's whip. It doesn't fit all of them, so clearly they have another transport. So I am playing the downtime game for my campaign this weekend, and I'm pretty excited. The campaign's going well, and everyone's having fun. Yes, that is... I've just, like, I literally accidentally kind of buried this stuff underneath a bunch of purchases. It didn't help that Into the Dark and Shadow Vaults came out like really close by to each other and like dumped a ton of scenery onto me. So one of the things I'm going to be working on for my Necromunda campaign is we're starting to add some story elements in that I'm kind of just shoehorning in because I like to add story elements. And we're going to be dealing with a Gene Stealer cult infestation. And my idea was, after some thinking, that there is a kind of a strange thing off the coast of the poison sea that's labeled with a enforcer's symbol, and it's called Balcatra, I think, and that made me think of Alcatraz, and I think that I'm probably not just pulling that out of my head, like a enforcer fortress that's in the water. My first thought is that it's some kind of a Alcatraz inspired prison colony, and in that way, I think that it would be really fun to do missions where we're kind of going to this prison complex, and why not have it be, the source of the Gene Stealer cult infestation. Alright, so here. If you look here, I added Gastown, and then Balctra, enforcer symbol, some kind of floating fortress. So maybe it's a prison colony. There's no specific background on it, so I'm kind of making it up as I go. Hi, Robin! Hi, Meandering Shade. No worries. Got another hour of work to go. We have gotten... I did this little mono wheel guy. This is the body is a print from, I think, Felix is the name of the sculptor. I'm actually going to double check that so that I get it right. Because... Yeah, exactly. One Way Out. So the Gene Stealer cult clearly infested the prison is going to be the idea. And so we're going to wind up having to go into the prison, and I'm going to use the Into the Dark campaign, or Into the Dark terrain, as the structure of the prison. So that's the plan anyway. I'm going to have to 3D print a bunch of prison walls, or jail cells or whatever. But I'll also probably do stuff like... I've actually been wanting to do an enforcer station board anyway, and my original plan was to do it as like fixed tiles, but I actually think it could be a lot of fun to do it modular style, where it all just sort of goes in and integrates with the Gallodark terrain. But we'll see. I often change my mind some point into projects. Alright. Looks like this guy's got one of those little stubby little Kroot carbine. I don't know what it's called. I have not read these guys' kill team rules at all. So I always build every option anyway. All right. I love poses like this where they're just kind of like nonchalantly holding their weapons shouldered. Oh, hey, he's even got trigger discipline. His finger is off the trigger. They started doing that a while back on just some of the models. I think it's funny because I'm sure people are like picky about that kind of stuff and have been complaining about it for years. But because they do it on some models now and not all, who are kind of holding the weapon off to the side or whatever, not sighted. I like to think that some models just happen to have significantly worse trigger discipline than others. Like those characters are just like, they're not good. Sometimes they accidentally shoot their buddies. All right. 27 is this knife right here. And that will be held out to the side. I have to say that part of my goal with doing weekly live streams is to get me to think about stuff that I've been wanting to work on and actually like commit to doing it. And it's fun because I've been sitting on these models for ages and now they're getting built. All right. Next one is just a regular warrior guy too. $30, $31, and $29. Yeah, this build is very linear, which I'm really liking a lot. Okay. And we'll use this head. Okay. Boom. And then for this one, I'll give him the full-length rifle. And the next one, I'll go for the... No, wait. The next one, I won't go for the carbine. So that's... Cold guy, I think, or something. Full rifle, carbine. This one's full rifle. Whenever I get to the next guy that has the carbine as an option, I'm going to give him the carbine. So 33 and 34. One of the things that's kind of tough is thinking about like stat lines, like what should be the base stat line of like a Harlequin in Necromunda. Unfortunately, yeah, I have a feeling that that'll be coming out soon. Their release schedule got really funky towards the end of the year, and they kind of had to shuffle some stuff around. And my impression is that they're still kind of working on catch up. They like how they dropped the Kill Team, the second Kill Team box early after Into the Dark, and I guess that screwed up the schedule for... Usually they try to have the previous boxes models out. Yeah, better movement. I might go tougher even. like toughness 4 base for a an Eldari. I know that they're not usually toughness 4 in 40k, but since we're dealing with a more granular kind of scale, I feel like toughness 4 on an Eldar would help kind of differentiate them as being, you know, significantly more like not human or whatever. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Could even have them come with like a specific skill, like they have spring up by default. Alright. Golly. This is a struggle. Getting this right. So this is one of those situations where the plastic glue is nice when you're kind of trying to fit together the multi-arm weapons. I've always kind of hated building the multi-arm weapons. I find that I really struggle to get everything to match up correctly. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this issue. But, oh well. Slide a little glue in. Hit it with the accelerant so it doesn't come apart. But yeah, the Harlequins are particularly, like, I feel like they're like the edge of what could reasonably show up in an Inquisitor 28 game. Movement 6 inches, 3 up, 3 up. Well, it would probably be a 2 up to shoot in. Strength 3, toughness 3. Yeah, that tracks. So this is yeah, it's a lot like the Borderlands buggies, actually. So this is the sculptor's name is Felix the Crazy. I got it on Cult 3D, and it's very much like the center bit of a Ridge Runner, but like turned into more of a buggy. It's supposedly a Kroot weapon or Kroot looted vehicle. But there's no actual Kroot anything on the model. So I'm going to print out some seated Kroot legs and have like a couple of Kroot sitting on it or whatever. I might saw off the gun to make this like back area a little more spacious, so that it can accommodate, you know, a person, or you know, not a person, but a Kroot, because yeah, it's gonna be tough. Maybe I'll just do a little extended platform here or something. The one downside of the vehicle setup for those Genestealer Cult vehicles is they very clearly were not designed with having passengers like with bases in mind. So they don't fit very many people. Yeah. I've got some of his stuff, some of his other stuff right here. The jumping legs. I think these heads I think I mistakenly printed out the Kroot orc hybrids, which is why the heads are too big. I used a couple of them here because I think Kroot can have kind of weird proportions because they are, they're one of the most like mutable bioforms in 40K. All right, so that guy's built. And then, yeah, this is also his, is the Kroot monocycle. So this will be a mount. I haven't decided what kind of gun to give it yet. All right, Kroot cut skin. 38, 39, 40. Let's see. Bum, bum. There we go. I gotta say, I really like the variety of clothing that's on the Kroot. One of my complaints with the old kit was that it was all very samey. But they've definitely improved that with the redesign. Everything looks very special. Like this guy looks like he's literally wearing looted carapace. And let's be real, the person he looted that off of was definitely eaten. But who can blame them? They're just recycling. Nobody in 40K minds when you kill your enemies mercilessly on the battlefield. Everyone is fine with that. But as soon as you start eating the bodies, everyone gets all wigged out. Critter like, y'all are just wasteful. And the Imperials are like, no, that has to go to a processing facility first to be made into a slightly distinct product that we then eat. And the Critter are like, that seems like a lot of extra steps. But then again, what can you expect from humans? They don't even absorb the DNA of their food and slowly gain their traits. So they clearly don't know anything. Crap. All right. So the cut skins weapons are 44 and 45, which are of course right here. I will say the kits on Cults 3D are so cool for making a Kroot force because it's clearly set up so that you can either do it as a Genestealer cult force where you've got like bikes and buggies and all of that stuff, or you could run them as Tau, and there's like a looted broadside that's like a Krootox or whatever with broadside weaponry. There's even like a Riptide that's a giant Krootox. It's very, very cool. I've been wanting to print all that stuff out for a while. 45. And maybe I'll get around to it. I really want, for each of my kill teams, I really want to do some vehicles. Even though there's no real way to include them in the current kill team system. I just like the kind of visual of it. So I'm planning to print some of the edge miniatures, Venoms, maybe even a Raider for my Corsairs. Because those are really, they're quite beautiful models, and I haven't printed them just because of space constraints, but I'm really hoping to get display cases set up in the space that will eventually be my studio, hopefully in the next month or two, and then I can start moving my collection to this barn where my studio is going to be. And that will allow me to kind of work on some projects that I've been putting off just because of scale. Which is a dangerous game, I know. Logic says that my collection will grow to whatever the size of the constraints that I have are. Alright. Next up is we got a stalker and a trapper. The stalker looks like he's got a shotgun. I can make this guy the stalker. So 49, 50, 51. The amount of bits in this kit, like once you build the base kill team and like have your extra guys worked out or whatever, you know, depending on whether you want to take a full roster of 20 or whether you just want to build a limited number, this kit has so much extra stuff: arms, hands, weapons. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and do see. So I'll have to putty him a new shoulder. And the other one is 51, which is a knife. And the shotgun. That sure looks like a human shotgun. This guy definitely killed and ate someone, right? And stole their shotgun. Yeah, I am really excited for the Dark Eldar kill team. I'm definitely going to pick that up. Between my Corsairs and my Dark Eldar, I should have an excuse to do a bunch of Eldar vehicles. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I think I like that guy. Alright, so of the actual kill team, we've got 5 guys there, 8 guys total. And ooh, a pistolier. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna do the tracker first. Alright, 46, 47, 48. I really like the goofy ass way the Kroot legs bend when they're crouching. $47. I'm definitely gonna do a couple of. There's Kroot bodies that are orc. Kroot that ate orc. I'm definitely gonna have to print some of those out to use the rest of these heads, because it'd be really fun to do like a Kroot project where you know, each different model that you do is a Kroot that ate a different thing. Can't really do Necrons, unfortunately, since as far as I know, Necrodermis is not digestible and they don't have genetic code. So the Kroot wouldn't really be able to absorb them. But it would be funny. I wonder what Kroot that ate Tau would look like. But maybe that's what the standard Kroot are, right? Like, the Tau probably realized that burying bodies is work. So maybe they let the Kroot do what they gotta do. Do what nature has them do. Maybe. I feel like I would be upset if I found out that one of my coworkers allowed a Kroot to eat me. But that's funny. There's a Space Marine footprint. Zote Kroot? Oh, they would be huge, right? Even bigger than the Orc Kroot. Alright. Alright, I was looking for a head. One thing that is weird about the current version of Kill Team is that some gangs get HQ models, or some warbands, or no, whatever they're called, kill teams. Duh. The kill teams in Kill Team are actually called kill teams. Go figure. It's weird because the Necrons and the Blooded get HQs. Yes, a Kroot Satan, a Krootan, if you will, would be hilarious. But the Necrons get a Cryptek, and the Blooded get the Commissar with his Escort Ogren, and I just feel like it's weird that only 2 of the kill teams get that. I mean, I guess technically the Thousand Sons get the aspiring sorcerer, but like that's also the name of like the aspiring sorcerer that's at the head of the unit. So like I don't really count that one. Some people do. All right. 54, 55. But like it would be really cool if my like Gene Stealer cult kill team could take the Saboteur or the, you know, whatever that 3-armed guy is called. 54. Yeah, I assume that the Kroot have... I mean, they also make their own rifles and stuff. Like, they're... I mean, I think that they had a fully developed civilization before the Tau found them. They were just kind of subsisting and eating whoever they wanted to eat. Not unlike, you know, me. So far, I haven't wanted to eat anyone. But you never know. But anyway, the Tau found them, and the rest is history. But there are Kroot in the Imperium, too. They're not very popular because of the whole... because of the whole eating dead bodies on the battlefield thing. But... This is annoying. His thumb is on the rifle. So, aha! The plus side, I really like it when the right piece actually kind of like clicks into place. And it's like, ah, this is... You're building this correctly. I like that idea a lot, Robin. Only thing is, it's just kind of, it's not enough members. I feel like you need, maybe bring in like, Yondu and Nebula and stuff. Nebula could be a Mechanicus, like that Mechanicus general character that has the, I think it's like a Power Maul or something. It was so weird when... Nebula could be Tau. It was so weird when the Skitarii Codex came out and it just didn't have any HQs. And they were just like, yeah, this army doesn't have HQs. Deal with it. And then eventually they were like, alright, we should probably give them an HQ. People clearly were not fans. But yeah, in order to get like enough models to make it interesting, I feel like there's a pretty long and storied roster of folks who have been in and out of the Guardians of the Galaxy over the years. Boom. Pistolier, 57, 58, 59. Yeah. Rocket. Small person, big gun. Trying to think. Not really a ratling. Because the ratlings are more like snipery. Is there a creature that has a automatic weapon that would fit? Oh, Jakaro, that's perfect. They like, geez, the Jakaro is such an inspired choice because like, what does Rocket do? He fiddles with stuff and makes like the most powerful weapon that he can with like whatever is lying around. And Jakaro are literally weaponsmiths. Squats would work too. All right. And this one is the Pistolier. 65, 60, 63, 64, 65, 66. So 63. Doing a like ship with a detailed interior is something I've always wanted to do. Like a more full-size ship. I did some fantasy stuff like that last year. But I did a pirate ship and an airship for my Caradron Overlords. And it was very worthwhile. Okay, so this arm will go up in there. It'll be like that. But first, I think I'll do this one because it goes in like the underneath. I'll tell you what ship I really want to get my hands on at some point, but which is just a little bit too much money for something that I'm not gonna ever really use on tabletop. Is there's that Deathwatch fighter with like the giant inquisitorial symbol on top. It's not very subtle, but the Deathwatch are not subtle. I was just thinking about it. I don't know the Star Wars extended universe stuff around Mandalore very well. I'm curious if the Deathwatch from the Clone Wars was from the extended universe. And if so... Yeah, exactly. It would be great for an Inquisitor. But yeah, I'm curious if... Who came up with the word... Like, who came up with Deathwatch for their universe first. But yeah, the Corvus Blackstar is not cheap, but it is absolutely beautiful, and I want one for one of my Inquisitors. But it's a big investment for something I'm not going to use on tabletop very often, if at all. My problem is that I can't stick with any one thing. So like, I do Inquisitor modeling, but I also do Necromunda, and I try to collect every single Necromunda gang. And then I also did they do that thing where they use the same arm? I hate that. Alright, I'm just gonna focus on the next build and then I'll worry about. Alright, 67, 68. The Kroot are tall. Lanky. That kind of a Jar Jar vibe. Yes. There's so many like large vehicles that I have absolutely no use for in game that I absolutely want. And then I have a Arvis Lighter and several Valkyries and several of the Chaos gunships, and it's just like I've already got all of these ships. Like I don't need more, but my little lizard brain is like, but I do need more. You're mistaken. Thankfully, working on this show has kept me distracted from pursuing some of my more outlandish project ideas. I say some, of course, because I am definitely still building that Inquisitor 54 scale board. I don't think I'll have it ready for Nova this year, but I want to run Inquisitor 54 at Nova in 2024. Yeah, the Arvis was a pain in the ass to assemble too, so it's not even like you're getting a better kit. It was just such an iconic vehicle aesthetically that I had to buy one. It's just scenery now, though. Ah, yes. Yeah, I love Mechanicus too. I love them so much that I did a Dark Mechanicus army, and then I did a Mechanicus army as well. Which, let me tell you, is unnecessary. Nobody needs two Mechanicus armies, especially when, like me, they don't play 40k. Alright. This guy's got the bow. 74, 75, 76, 77. I'm definitely feeling this music. I need to look at his catalog more. '74, '76. Yeah. Yeah, they are a nightmare. Okay, yeah, so Deathwatch in 40K predates Deathwatch in Star Trek. It's always funny when you get those little kind of cross-pollination moments where it's like, we stole the name Obi-Wan from you guys a while back, so you're gonna use Deathwatch now. Aha, 74 and 76. All right. We're getting there. That said, I'm probably going to wind down at 2. Because I have not eaten today. Aha. There's always a trick to these little 2-part bits. Oh, I should probably this guy is sighted in, so he's got his finger on the trigger. Oops. Stuck to my hand. Good old super glue. Bonds instantly with flesh. All right. And then he's got a pistol on his hip. And boom. It looks like there's some heavy weapon guys, which and then the last one is a no wait, I think that is the last one. just check the sprue. Yeah, I think that's the last of the regular Kroot bodies. And then there's the... Ooh. Malifaux models are amazing. The scaling is weird. They're just a very different style than GW. But they have some of the most spindly parts that I've ever seen. But they're absolutely, like, beautiful. So I think that you'll like them. Alright. So, this last guy... I'm getting the... Oh, wait. I think that it might actually be two completely different weapons builds. Oh, thank goodness. Because some of the Eldar Corsair stuff, the parts for the weapons were used on two different weapon builds. Take care, Shade. Oh yeah, those Malifaux gremlins are some of my absolute favorite sculpts from their range. Like, they've got so much personality. I feel like they would definitely invite you in for a gumbo. Alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. But since it's not going to take too long to get through everything, I'm just going to go ahead and start my victory joint now. All right. Okay. I like the big... I don't even know what it is. The big flower petal looking thing the most. I'm going to be efficient about time because I have to do a dump run when I get done this. For some reason, Baltimore City has switched to bi-weekly recycling pickups. And it's awful. It's like either I have a pile of laundry, a pile of recycling adding up on my deck, or I have to take a trip to the dump in between recycling pickups. I waited to do the walls all as one thing. In fact, little preview. That's what I'm going to be painting next week. I'm going to do like a chunk of them on camera, like with my nice camera, to make a tutorial video for how I paint them. And then I'm going to oops, getting glue on myself. And then I'm going to paint more of them, or the rest of them, over the course of the week. And hopefully on Friday, $85. There we go. Shadow Vault did just come out, but most of the Kill Team boxes are one and done. But it said temporarily out of stock when I was on the website yesterday, so I have no idea what's going on with Shadow Vaults. God damn it. I think that's the first time I've sworn on this stream. Boom. Alright, that's all the bodies that came with the kit. I got some spares that I'll build another time. And I'm going to build the two dogs. Because they're nice and simple. Melts faces. I like that. All right. Oh, that's fun. They made the hound heads interchangeable. So you can at least have 4 different looking hounds. And smoke in my eye. Just put that down for a moment to do some detail work. I've had really bad luck the last couple of days. I was cleaning up a 3D print. Let's see. Oh. I'm an idiot. There was a left and right half, but it was the left and right half of the two bodies. So they didn't go together. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was trimming something off a 3D print, and I had a piece rocket off and nail me in the eye on Wednesday, and it sucked. My eye closed in time, but it hit pretty hard. That's what I get for not wearing eye protection. I will admit. It was entirely my own fault. I'm well aware that snippers are unpredictable. But then, yesterday, I was cleaning something, and like a piece of sand or particulate or something blew in my eye. And I was just like, no, not again. Can't do this to me. Truly hate the scalpers. Now, if you check locally, there's a chance you'll be able to find Shadow Vault. Because game stores will not necessarily sell out of them the way the online markets do. I'm pretty sure my local game store still has a copy of Into the Dark on their shelf. Well, it did when I was there 2 weeks ago. It's funny, people shit talked Shadow Vaults because the Necron part wasn't what they wanted, but it sold so fast. That's why I go to a person I can email a pre-order to before the actual official street, well, not street date, but the pre-order window time, 1 p.m. on Saturday or whatever. Because it really helps to just know that you're going to get it. My breaches are like right. Breaches are like right over here. Usually more of me is on camera. Also, you can't tell, but there's a camera right here. All right. Hey, I did it. I was talking. I wasn't paying attention. I finished. The Kroot are built. Oh, they're gonna be fun to paint. All right. I'm taping a game Saturday. It's an arbitrated scenario. It's going to start out as the marketplace scenario from Book of the Outlands. I was supposed to play last week, but my rat got a broken leg. All right. Well, I only went over by a few minutes, so I managed to get what I wanted done. I'll print out some more parts and finish up using the rest of the bits, but it's a start. Everybody out there, have a wonderful weekend. And I'll be back sometime next week, probably Friday again. I'm not turning off the stream yet because I realized I can't go upstairs with this lit because of the birds. So I'm just going to sit here and finish. Plus, by waiting, I get to see everyone say cheers. Because there's a delay. I've got the Tau sitting around here somewhere. Might do them next. Pathfinders. But I want to get a set of Fire Warriors. It sucks that their kill team is just Pathfinders. It's kind of boring.